So that happened. Yeah, so, shit. I don't even know where to fucking start. This is going up, basically in Bob We Trust time slot because there isn't an In Bob We Trust episode, ready for Monday morning like there usually is this week, because basically I just couldn't find, because I just couldn't muster the energy to do something frivolous or that felt frivolous, in a timely fashion, to get it done. Like every sane person in this country. Yeah, this is not going to be a conciliatory message, by the way, just to be clear. Yeah, like every sane person in the United States, sane person worldwide, I was fucking shell-shocked and horrified and disturbed by the election of a fucking game show host. Like, seriously, even if you put aside, even if you can put aside the racism, sexism, misogyny, homophobia, xenophobia, all the witch's brew of awfulness that is the Donald Trump campaign, even if you put all that aside, he's a reality television game show host. Yeah, so Donald Trump is president, and I spent Tuesday night horrified, breaking down, feeling like I wanted to break down myself, and consoling friends who were actually breaking down. Just in a miserable state, spending Wednesday and Thursday, kind of wandering the world, going about my business in a daze, and the time and energy that would go into making an In Bob We Trust episode, which is a fun show, which is a show about, nostalgia and remembering things and goofy movies and comics and video games sometimes and whatnot. When you look at the state of the world and what this could mean and what can happen now, it just felt the funny business wouldn't come. And that makes me feel like it's a failing on my part, folks, because, this is my job. I should be able to put my bullshit aside and say, okay, you're upset, you're feeling like you feel, but people are relying on you to bring them entertainment, to take their minds off of this, or just to say something about it. And I don't know what I have to say, that isn't being said by other smarter people than me. I did, in fact, write down a lot of my immediate thoughts, less about the election, which can be summed up in, there's really only one word to describe this, and it's fuck. Perhaps represented in the form of, are you fucking serious? But my thoughts, which were about this whole business of, okay, how do the Democrats go forward? Clearly there's this resentment in middle America that needs to be figured out, and I wrote down what I thought about that, which is not conciliatory, not very, hey, let's break bread and make friends. Sure, you're racist and you elected a, admitted serial abuser of women president, but hey, let's find some common ground. No, it's not one of those. But I did write one, and I wrote it, and it's on my blog, and I'm going to put the link down here, and if you really want to hear what I think about this, then go read that. In any case, I feel bad, because there should be some content here to entertain you and to take your mind off it, and I am working to put something else together for, a little later on in the week to fulfill that obligation. Because, in times such as these, there was no script here, by the way, folks, so if this sounds rambling and over-edited, it's because I'm shooting 100% off the cuff here. In times such as these, there's two conflicting feelings, and there's the one feeling that is the correct feeling, this is correct right up front, is this is not normal, this will not be normal, this must not become normal. We must not let the fact that we elected a racist game show host president of the United States be a normal thing that we're okay with. Good, worthwhile people must resist this and fight it to the best of their ability for as long as they can, for however long it takes to get this son of a bitch out of office, whether it takes, the election in 4 years or sooner by pushing for him to be impeached for one of the fucking awful things he's probably going to do. You have to fight and resist and stay angry and stay involved and stay active, even though your prevailing instinct will be to let things feel normal again and let things settle. And that's one instinct, and that's the noble instinct, but it's also the tiring and exhausting instinct. The other instinct is to try and find a way to live with it and to not let it consume and override your life and say, okay, I'm going to be involved in politics and I'm going to stay mad and angry about this, but I just want to chill out for a little while. I want to forget about this. I want to watch a movie. I want to play a video game. I want to hug my cat or my dog or something. I want to read a funny comic. I want to watch a 5-minute web video where some asshole from Boston talks about the Flash Gordon movie or something. You know, I want to just forget and be. And that instinct is understandable, and that instinct is natural, and it's important to have a pressure release valve. And yet I find myself, and I think probably a lot of people find themselves, torn between those two instincts of I want to stay angry and I want to fight and I want to resist and I want to be, involved and active and not let this go, but I also want to vent and release and calm down and have some escape from it and blow off steam. And you can end up feeling guilty about that because you can look at whatever level of privilege you have and say, well, okay, I have this bit of escapism from this, but some people don't have the luxury of escaping from this. Some people, this will be a horror show for a straight 4 years or, God help us, 8 years. And I understand both instincts, and I understand the looking at, someone like me and what I do, which is this entertainment stuff, looking at this and saying, hey, how can you talk about schlocky old movies and old comic book storylines when there's a white nationalist government taking over the United States? Why are you wasting time talking about the fucking Spider-Man trailer or whatever that comes out when there's real things going on? And I completely get and agree with that. And, for those of you who haven't been watching the show for a while, or perhaps only ever saw my content when there was a good guy presidential administration going on, to borrow a line from Mission Impossible, you've never seen me very upset. But yeah, if you think this is going to be like the happy channel that never talks about politics in the age of Trump, you are fucking sorely mistaken. Good Lord, this probably sounds like such a complete fucking ramble. Where I come down is this. It is important to stay active and engaged and angry and fighting back, but if you don't take a minute for yourself once in a while to exercise self-care, to take what happiness you can glean from what has always been a pretty shitty world and is now significantly shittier in a much more personal way for a lot of people, you're going to burn out. And then you will not be good for anything. You will not have the strength and the capability to do the necessary fighting if you let the crushing weight of the necessary fighting break your spirit otherwise. And that's why, even though I am going to do everything in my power to help the people in communities who will be hurt and affected and oppressed, genuinely oppressed by this monstrous nightmare of an administration that has now been unleashed, I'm also going to keep doing what I do. I'm going to keep making my shows, and I'm going to keep reviewing movies, and I'm going to keep doing goofy-ass episodes talking about silly comic books, and I'm going to keep doing Really That Good and, other projects, Game Overthinker type stuff, and I'm going to put that content out there, and in fact, I'm going to double down on my resolve and put more of it out there than I have before, because I think joy is also important, and entertainment is important, giving people something not to take their minds off of this or give them something to distract them from the fight, but something to give them energy, something to give resolve, an oasis, a small island of joy and entertainment to be gleaned in this madness. So long as there are those of you out there who look to me and my shows to be something that brings them joy amid the joylessness, I'm incredibly honored by the idea of that, and I am going to keep doing it. We're coming to the end of the spiel here, I think, and this is usually the part where I'm supposed to say something inspiring. And I don't know if I have any special inspiring thing to say. I don't have a we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight. They may take our lives, they'll never take our freedom. I don't have one of those. I don't have one. And I don't want to start sounding smarmy, because then you start lapsing into the sentiment of, oh, well, we made it out under Nixon, we made it out under Reagan, we made it out under Bush, we'll make it out under Trump. A lot of people didn't make it out under Nixon. They didn't make it out under Reagan. They didn't make it out under Bush. And a lot of people won't make it out under this. This is going to get bad. And now is not the time to start trying to find a way to feel better about that. But I will leave you with this. This sort of fight is outside of and beyond politics. Politics are an important mechanism of it, but what this really comes down to is, what kind of a person are you, and how much do you care about your fellow Americans, your fellow people, the rest of the world? If nothing else, if you've never felt like you had, the opportunity or the time to prove yourself as a person, if you have ever had doubts in what you would do in genuinely troubling times, what would I do if I was a German in the 1930s? What would I do if I was when the killing fields were breaking out? What would I have done at the start of the Civil War? Well, now is your chance for you to find out, to prove what you would have done in such times, because these are such times. This is your moment. This is your time to fight, your time to stand up, and your opportunity to prove what kind of a person you really are. That should scare you. It scares me, but it also excites me. And I hope that it excites you. I hope that it motivates you. I hope that you go out into the world and volunteer and stand up and support your friends, support your allies, support marginalized, imperiled communities. And I, for my part, will be here to entertain you, to give you some moments of solace to grasp onto, hopefully, in the midst of this unbelievable horror. And I will also stand with you. Because this is my opportunity to prove what kind of a person I am as well, and I welcome it. And I hope you do too. Good luck.